You can build a track-ready GR86 for $2,000, and the reason dealers hate it is that it costs less than the intake and tune crowd wastes making no power. This is not a turbo build. It's smarter than that. And the single most expensive line in this budget is not the one you're guessing. Here's the philosophy up front so you can argue with me the whole way. Tires and suspension are your performance money. Wheels and small cosmetics are your looks money. Power waits for build number 2, because on a naturally aspirated FA24, chasing horsepower with $2,000 is how you end up slow and broke at the same time. Let's set the stage. The GR86 makes 228 horsepower and weighs about 2,822 pounds. Toyota and Subaru already did the hard engineering. The suspension geometry is basically correct, the brakes are fine for the street, and the balance is playful. What the factory left on the table is fitment, suspension tuning, and visual presence. That's exactly the 3 things $2,000 fixes. Before you buy a single mod, spend $150 on maintenance, because bolting parts onto a neglected car is how budgets die. Fresh 0W20 full synthetic. A real brake fluid flush with Motul RBF 600 that boils at 594 degrees dry. And check that manual gearbox fluid. Idemitsu GL-4 75W90, about 2.4 quarts, $30, and your shifter suddenly feels honest. And check your tires actually have tread before you touch suspension. Worn tires on new springs feel worse than fresh tires on stock. People forget this constantly. Now the fight everyone gets wrong. Springs versus coilovers. At this budget, springs win, and it's not close. Tein S-Tech springs run about $220, drop you roughly 1 inch to 1.4 inch up front, and run 5.0 kilos front, 4.0 rear. The key: they work with the factory Sachs dampers, which are genuinely good units you should not throw away. A $350 coilover replaces those good dampers with worse ones. That's paying money to make the ride harsher. Now the big one, and this is your re-engagement moment. Wheels and tires are the largest single spend in this whole build, and the tires cost more than the wheels. Enkei RPF1 in 18 by 9.5, about 17.2 pounds each, roughly $400 to $500 for a used set through the GR86 marketplace. It's the do-it-once, do-it-right wheel. Correct 5 by 100 pattern, correct 56.1 hub bore, JWL certified, and it holds resale if you change your mind. The tire is where the grip lives. Michelin Pilot Sport 4S and 245's 40 R18 is the benchmark, about 165 to 195 a tire, call it 700 mounted. But if you're a weekend warrior, the Falken RT660 at 120 to 145 a tire punches way above its price. Autocrossers love it. It's softer, it wears faster, but the grip is silly for the money, and it saves you around 150 to 200 bucks over the Michelins. On a tight budget, that saving becomes more tire quality everywhere else. Fitment is where budgets get destroyed, so slow down here. Your target is 18 by 9.5 with a plus 38 to plus 45 offset and a 245/40 R18 tire. That fills the fender on a lowered car with no rolling, no pulling, speedometer error under 2%. But do not trust a spec sheet with $700 on the line. Cross-reference your exact setup on threepiece.us, where real GR86 and BRZ owners post their actual wheel, offset, tire, and suspension combos with photos. You see the real car, not a guess. That's how you avoid buying wheels that rub. One thing that quietly eats budgets: the 56.1 hub bore. Most cast wheels come with a 73.1 bore, so you order $10 hub rings, or you get a vibration at 70 miles an hour that makes you think something's broken. And your lug seat has to be conical, 60 degrees, to match GR86 hardware. Wrong seat type means wheels that loosen at speed. That's not a look problem, that's a they come off problem. Grab Muteki SR48s for about 45 bucks and verify the seat. Brakes get a light touch, and that's correct. Hawk horsepower, S front pads, 65 to 85 bucks. Better bite and fade resistance without the cold morning grumpiness of a trackpad. Part number HB453F, 555 and verify it, because the GR86 caliper is different from the old 86 and BRZ. Do not replace the rotors. The stock ones are fine for the street. Save that money for build too. Here's the myth I'll die on. Intake and exhaust for power on this car is a trap. A cold air intake and a catback on the FA24 give you maybe 5 to 10 horsepower combined, and that number only shows up after a $400 to $800 tune. That's $1,000 to $1,700 for gains you cannot feel. It eats your entire build. The community is nearly unanimous. Meaningful power on this engine means forced induction, and forced induction is not a $2,000 project. Put that money in tires. Install order matters because it saves you money in tires. Maintenance first, then Hawk pads while you're still on stock rubber so you can bed them without scrubbing new tires. Then springs. Then an alignment immediately, and I mean immediately, because skipping the alignment to save $130 is how you cook a set of tires in a month. Target minus 1.5 to minus 2 degrees camber front and rear. If the eccentric bolt won't get you there, grab SPC or white line camber bolts for $40 to $80. Wheels and tires go on last, torqued to 89 foot-pounds, retorqued at 50 miles. Cosmetics are the cheap dopamine. The base GR86 has no trunk lip, and an OEM-style ABS spoiler runs $80 to $130 versus $250 to $350 at the dealer. It's the highest impact visual for the money. Add a vinyl accent kit for $30 to $60, black lug nuts to match the wheels, and the car reads purposeful instead of stock. These are the first things to cut if you run tight, so treat them as a bonus, not a requirement. Now the honest downside, because trust matters more than hype. Those Tein springs are stiffer than stock, and the GR86's stock ride is genuinely comfortable for a sports car. You will feel expansion joints more. It's about the level of a European factory sports suspension, not punishing, but noticeable. If you commute daily over broken city pavement, know that going in. And if you live where it snows, these summer tires are dangerous below 40 degrees. Budget a separate 17-inch winter set. This build is not for the person who wants stock softness back. So where does $2,000 land you? A GR86 dropped an inch on Tein springs, sitting on 18 by 9.5 Enkeis with 245 Falkens, real fade-resistant pads, fresh fluids, and a spoiler that makes it look intentional. You go from a 205 or 215 contact patch to a proper 245, and the grip, steering feel, and cornering balance all step up in a way you feel in the first corner. Nothing here hurts reliability. The engine and transmission are untouched. Who this is for? The driver who wants grip, stance, and a car that feels sharper without gutting reliability or the warranty. Who it's not for? Anyone chasing horsepower numbers, because that's a $5,000 to $15,000 conversation, not this one. Before you spend a dime on wheels, go verify your exact fitment against real cars on threepiece.us so you don't buy something that rubs. Tell me in the comments, RT660s or PS4S on your build. I'll fight about it. Like, subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one.